I have been formed around that image, and over the years and through circumstances that I'll soon point out, I forgot that it was there. I did. I became unlovable, unloving and unlovable, except for that constant, that wife of mine, "Hi honey, welcome home." I never lost that. Again, it is the image of God. It's God's idea of me, and it's placed there at the instant of my conception. This is true of every human being that was ever born, and truer still for all that will come after us. And it is good. As an infant, this goodness is recognized by those who chose to look for it. And it will bring out the goodness in them. You know, doctors have terrible handwriting. It is called unconditional love, total acceptance. A child for its mother. And the mother's love for the child is the best example. Unearned, open, absolute. It flows and animates the whole relationship. And then, for reasons that are, well, too many to list, but I'll list them, the love gets distorted, clouded, and survival begins to take over. I began to see through a glass darkly. I lost that joyous spontaneity, again that instancy that makes up the young child, and I became fearful. The kind of fear that transcended all the love that I contained. I wish I could really I wish I could remember when that fear began. Was it a separation? A pullback of love, a push away of love? Was it a smack on the bottom? You know, put me in place, a disappointment, some failure somebody had to keep a promise that they made to me? Was it an overheard comment that said something bad about me that I overheard and I took it and believed it? Was that what caused me to become fearful, to change from who I was? I don't think I'll ever know. And honestly, is it that important? I'll leave those questions to our colleagues Phil Quinn in the mental health field. You know, that's their bailiwick. Men like our friend Phil Quinn, the experts, the pros. What I do know is that I have to let that fear go if I'm ever to find happiness and peace of mind, the products of love. But how do I do it? How do I do it? Well, the answers are as pure as they are simple. First and foremost, I must stay sober. Then I must try to help others get sober. I must consistently ask God's assistance in those two endeavors and accept the will for all of us. I must practice love through an open, expressive attitude of gratitude for the benefits given to me. I must witness to God's love and kindness in my own living experience. I must give of myself, mind, body, and soul on those occasions when the need is made most obvious. I must be willing to accept that my help may not be welcomed, and my effects may go unappreciated. I must walk humbly in the presence of my God, knowing that of myself I am nothing. All that I am comes from my Father in heaven. I must continually let loose that love that is inside of me, that unconditional love of majestic instancy, and that love that is the better side of my nature, through acts of spontaneous generosity to all those that need it. And all of this must be actions of faith, so that more faith may be given to me. And somebody said at one time there are no musts in AA, but I think they're a little wrong about that. Well, I've kept you for a while now, and I'm going to let you go. Please, in my letter to you, I mentioned a doctor's name who told me his office is not too far from yours back in Buffalo. Call him. Get in touch with him, and, you know, he's in the same jam as you are. He's having a hard time with this God thing, and he's also having a hard time with the program, although he's been sober now for about 4 months. So get in touch with him. And I know if you do, you'll be helping him. But remember, you can always contact me if it's possible. I don't know how long I've got, but we'll see. Maybe not much time at all. I want to thank you for coming here. You're a dream come true. I really mean that. I appreciate it. But I got to go now. There's some dying that needs to be done. So let the rest be silence. Bob passed away then, and I had the pleasure of escorting him into paradise. You should have seen the expression on his face when he heard somebody shout out, "Hi honey, welcome home." It was a joy to be seen. A pure joy. I want to mention one other thing about Bob that not that many people know. You know, when it was known that he was dying, a couple of friends of his in Akron came to see him, and they asked for permission to build a monument for him and Anne. And he was really humbled by it. He was taken, and he said, "Gee, I'm touched." He said, "But please don't do that." He said, "Bury us like ordinary folk, will you?" Now in a slight rise in Mount Peace Cemetery in Akron, Ohio, there's a headstone. And on it is the word Smith, very modest. And beneath it is Bob and Ann's name and the date of their start and the date of their end. And to a passerby, it wouldn't stand out from any of the other headstones that are in the cemetery. But were they to take a closer look, they would notice something different about this headstone, because at the base, around the base of the headstone, and on top, there are piles of medals, medallions. And if he were to, or she, the passerby, were to look at the medallion, they'd notice numbers on one side, Roman numeral numbers that denote years of sobriety and unearned grace. And these have been left by the thousands of people that come to that site every year to visit these two people in their place of rest. And the passerby would say to himself or herself, these must have been special people, and theirs must have been extraordinary lives. And I believe no monument could be more fitting that you'll find there. May God grant all of you the serenity to accept the things you cannot change, the courage to change the things you can, and the wisdom to know the difference. Thank you for allowing me to share Bob's dream. Good night.